Hi everyone, we're on episode 3 of the Far Cry 3 map editor tutorials that I'm doing. This time we're going to be covering placing and editing objects. When I started to make the maps and I was putting objects into them, it seemed pretty easy until you started having to rotate them and move them around and get them onto different angles and that type of thing. And there was a good hour that I was frustrated with trying to work out some, because the way that the menus works, it just needs a little bit of clearing up. So I thought I'd show you what I've worked out with it. And now I can pretty much put items together, link them up, get them all really nice and neat. So we'll have a quick look how we do that. We're on the map that we made in episode 1 and episode 2, just got a little bit of land on it. And what you need to do is go to your navigation wheel. You just come out of it so you can see where it is. So we've got terrain tools, we've been through paint, we've done environment as well, and it's this one over here that we want the objects. So we've got edit objects and edit objects 3D, and then select objects there. What we want is add new objects. So there is, I think there's over 2,000 items which you can put onto your map, which is absolutely ridiculous, for it. And it's great, and you'll see we've got game modes, so team deathmatch, we've got the spawn points, we've got the camera modes for the end movie, gameplay, explosives, so we've got barrels and stuff that we can put in, ladders, weapons. Now the weapons, if you put your weapons onto the map, you won't be able to take it online at the moment. So at the moment I'm not going to cover weapons, vehicles, hostile mercenaries and allied mercenaries, wildlife and aquatic wildlife. So other than explosive in ladders, there isn't really anything which is going to be relevant until later on in the tutorials. Thematics give you kind of groups of stuff that you can use. Now obviously earlier on we flattened off the land, so it makes it a lot easier when you're doing stuff. In a few things, like with the camera angles, you do control from the analog stick, so you do have to kind of do some moving around with your sticks to try and get it in a little bit more, just work it all out. Some of the items are absolutely huge. So if you wanted a church in the middle of your little island, then that's fine, but personally you're probably better off with just a small building like that. So we've got a town, we've got a village. That's quite a good little building. What have we got here? Yeah. Good tons, native, temple, great ones, World War II. You can make some great maps with these type of things. So like with that one, that's clearly the top of what's showing. And obviously if you pull it out you can see what's going on. So that's not kind of coming out of the menu as it should and settling on the top. So we'll use this as an example. So we've got that you can rotate it with your left trigger. So you hold it in and then you spin it round. And what I wanted to do was tilt it with some of the stuff, and it's just pretty much impossible to do. So what you actually have to do is that if you add it, we can add one of these in and we can just right trigger and then we've got one. But what you want to do is that you can see add and edit with your RB. So if we move that just where it's going to be easy to grab hold of it. So press RB and then you move into it and you're still on control. So what we can do is that we can actually grab this now. So press RT to move it. And if you push up with your right analog stick, you can bring it out of the ground then. So if we grab it and then move it with the left analog stick, and then that's just like twisting it left to right with the right, left to right will allow us to do this. That was this one, left and right, and up and down, that's on the left stick. Left and right spins it, up and down and lowers it with the right stick. So we can set that in wherever we want. Always have a look at your steps. Make sure that they're low enough so that you're going to be able to just walk onto it. And then what we can do with that now is that we can L button, add new object, use your D-pad to navigate, get the artillery gun, and then we can drop the artillery gun into this part of the map. In fact, we'll put it on there. Now with that, I'd want to move that again, just so that I can just choose exactly where it's going. So RB it, grab it, and then just lower it onto that central point a little bit more. You can use your camera to kind of get a good feeling. Whatever's flashing is obviously what you're moving. So just move that right on it, and that gives us a better feeling for what we're doing. So if you highlight something while you're still in this edit objects, and this is edit objects 3D that we're in, we just press Y, and that will ask us if we want to delete it, and we do, so it's deleted. So that's after you've placed. If you do go into placing and editing, it'll automatically flip you onto your edit objects. So we'll add another object, and if let's have a quick look. So static vehicles, we'll just use this as an example. So I can put one of these cars here, and then I can put another one. So on this one I can rotate, but I can't tilt. So we just rotate it, we put another car in. Now that obviously would look quite daft if we had a car just hanging over the edge. So we RB it, grab it, move it around with a stick, and then we can rotate it, and we can lift it, and we can lower it. But if we go back over to it and we press LT to rotate, and then start to nudge our right analog stick, you can see that we can start to tilt the objects. And then that's when you can start. So realistically we want the wheels to be lined up, and then we can lift that up, and then there's an option which is in the menu, in the settings, which you've got, where are we? Auto snap objects with terrain, and you can't use this without having that tabbed on, because as you saw, that just snapped in at the final second to pull it into line. It's slightly off on that side, but its wheels are lined up here. But at the same time, because it's slightly off there, we can grab this and we can just move that over, and then start to move it down a bit. If that's not doing it, then left trigger, and you can always move it around a little bit just to try and make it fit back in. So remember, it's RB, and you go into your edit mode then, and remember to look on your left and right for your movement and your rotate, and then just play around with it and you'll get your confidence up with moving. Placing other objects, we've got nature. So we have got trees, so as we're making an island, we might as well have some palm trees on the beach. And to make your trees look a little bit different, just spin them. You've got a couple of different types that you can use. A couple of different colour variants. But what you can also use is this one, collection system. So we've got a palette up here, and we want coastline, high palms, coastline, high palms 3. We'll go with that. Looks a little bit more dense. So if we go up to the top, we've got a radius, and what we can do with that is we can just match it roughly to the same type of areas what we've got with the other one, and then we just click it, and then that'll generate us some proper coastline with some stuff to save us having to just line everything up. Like that area, you can just narrow it down. widen it back out for your area, and you get multiple sections. So if we want a desert, then we can use some rocks on here as well. So we can have ourselves a bit of a rocky beach. So when we're actually playing a game, come out of the beach, we've got all these features already. So to the left hand side is what I put down. Obviously you can need to know these up, and I'll show you how to do that type of thing. So around the edges, because obviously we use quite a big palette for putting stuff down. This is the part where I did, and then this is the part where the game's generated this coastline for me. And their coastline looks a hell of a lot better than what I've done. So we press start and go into this, go to collection system. You'll notice that we've got LT for arrays. So what we can do is we can control all these random ones that don't quite fit, and we can just LT on those. So it's very often worth just cornering it down to, and then any ones that are problems you can just take out. And what you could do with these ones that are over here is that you could go to your terrain, go to smooth, and then you could just smooth off that land and make it so that they fit a bit better. You can see how they're beginning to settle in. And some of them won't, so you just go back, collection system, and then LT, and take them back out. And just give that a quick test. So all the rocks and stuff that were floating around the edges, we don't have them now. This looks a lot neater now. But like this area now, got that smooth ramp up to where the cars are. And then over on this side, this foliage that's down, it looks great. And then your island should be starting to look like something now. So we've still got over here, I believe it was, that I put one of those circles that should be, I think that's part of it. It's just sticking out of the grass somewhere. So, because it's something that might affect the gameplay later on. There you go. There it is. What you can do is, because we're editing, we can just come into the map. So there's the trees and all that type of thing. And then you can see here. So if we bump objects. Edit 3G objects. See how it's flashing up yellow now? So we can Y and then delete it. And then we've only got the one that we should have on the map. And so the main thing to do is to remember that the rotation is done after you've placed it straight onto your map. So you can't tilt it while you're searching for your objects. So we get a temple, we want to just drop that on. You can't move it, remember, until you've actually placed it and edited it. And it's only on your left trigger that you can start to tilt it. And just so it's covered, if we were to take that out, and we add an object. We'll just do the same one again. So we're on here and we've placed it, and we're just like, oh damn, I need to edit it. You can either just click your back button and that'll undo it, or you can place it, LB, edit objects 3D, highlight it, and then again you can just edit it from that if it's in the right spot. And that's really it for this one about placing objects. It's just remembering to put your object down with the RB, and then you can edit it. Right trigger and left trigger will do different features for what you're wanting to do. I hope it's been of some use and that it helps you get some stuff together. But remember, in your menus, make sure that your objects do snap to the terrain. There's no point having floating buildings and stuff. Go into your map as often as you can. In and out of buildings has been a little bit glitchy with the steps, so sometimes you just need to bump the land a little bit underneath it, and then you'll be able to run onto your steps smoothly. It'd be nothing more infuriating than running into a map, being chased by somebody trying to evade somebody, running into a building and not being able to get in because your step's not quite right. So, as I said, if it's been useful, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want us to review your map, or if you've got any tips, then obviously leave a comment and then we'll get in touch with you.